Deep in Thailand's Yala province, firemen worked desperately to extinguish a fire at a rubber company, a blaze blamed on the region's growing Islamic insurgency. Scenes like this have become part of daily life here. Some call it a war. Others describe the almost daily bombings, arson, beheadings, and drive-by shootings as an ethnic cleansing. But whatever it is called, it does not change the fact that more than 2,000 people have died since the Muslim insurgency flared up in 2004 in Thailand's Muslim-majority southern provinces of Pattani, Yala, and Narathiwat. While the majority of Thailand's 65 million people are Buddhists, around 1.3 million ethnic Malay Muslims live in the south. Most identify more with Muslim Malaysia and the Malayu language than with Thai Buddhists. Many have long complained of discrimination and attempts at forced assimilation since Thailand annexed the region 100 years ago. The shadowy insurgents have never clearly identified themselves nor made public demands. Many officials and analysts believe they want to establish a separate Islamic state. Mansoor Salah, an activist and businessman from Pattani town, sums up the views of many Muslims in the south.
We have struggled through us that Islam is our discipline and way of life. Of course, this is because of Islam we can protect our identity, we can develop our soul, and we can develop our lifestyle. So the outside should understand that Islam is the main role of religion here, not Buddhist.
Panitan Watanayagorn, a political scientist at Bangkok's Chulalongkorn University, says that as the violence escalates, the goal of the insurgents becomes clearer.
And now the ideas of independence becoming clear on the surface. Now the idea of being a Malayu, based, town, driving out other ethnic groups are being rising up on the surface. And now the ideas of becoming very much committed to religious causes now beginning to be on the surface. So this is very new to the southern Thailand. The rise of the more unified militancy, is here now.
The insurgents attack symbols of the government, including the armed forces, schools, businesses, workers in critical industries such as rubber, and places deemed un-Islamic, like bars that serve alcohol. They also kill Muslims they view as government collaborators. The insurgents primarily target Buddhists in what is believed to be an attempt to drive them from the region. Officials estimate tens of thousands have fled over the past 3 years. Many of the Buddhist temples in the region have closed, and all are heavily guarded. This Buddhist temple in Pattani was bombed twice, and several of the monks were beheaded. Prasantan Pariyawitan is the senior monk.
There are many temples here with no monks in them. The problem in southern Thailand is the insurgents want to destroy the Buddhist religion and kill Buddhist monks.
Although Prasantan says residents must find a way to work for peace, he fears that will not happen.
And I think the point of the violence here is to run the Buddhists out of southern Thailand.
Many Buddhists agree. Prayunde Kananruk is a lawyer and member of the local government. He lost everything when insurgents burned his rubber plantation down, and now, he says, he has lost faith in the government.
The insurgents are destroying the region's economy, and the government cannot control the violence or protect the people.
The government that took power in a military coup last September vowed to make peace in the south a priority, but its approach has failed. Francesca Law Davies is an analyst with the International Crisis Group who has worked extensively in southern Thailand. She says the escalation in violence proves the security forces have failed.
I think it signifies that the security forces have proved incapable of fighting this insurgency, and that the rebels are increasingly confident and increasingly assertive.
The The Imam of the Central Mosque of Patani, Yaqub Hreimani, says Buddhists and Muslims used to live in peace and must find a way to do so again.
I
believe the Buddhists think the Muslims are responsible for the violence, and the Muslims do not know who is responsible for the violence. However, we must continue to try to bring peace to this land.
Kittypup Tongson is a Buddhist and a teacher in Narathiwat.
ไม่ว่าจะเป็นข้าการพ่อค้าประชาชนไม่สามารถทำมาหากินได้อย่างสุจริตอย่างเช่น
Now everyone is afraid. Teachers, officials, businessmen, everybody. We cannot go out to work because we are afraid. Once night falls, we never leave our homes.
ให้เกิดสันติขึ้นมาเร็ว
Many Buddhists and Muslims in southern Thailand say it is a tragedy that they, who once lived side by side in peace, now live in fear and animosity. Both sides worry that with trust and tolerance broken down, this conflict is poised to spiral out of control. Nancy Amelia Collins, VOA TV, Southern Thailand.